Awesome. We're recording here. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another virtual classroom. Today's class is in celebration of I Love Yarn Day, where Michaels has been hosting knit and crochet classes all day long. Like Mikey said, my name is Bianca from yarnspirations.com, and I'm here with Mikey, the man, the myth, the legend from the crochet crowd.
Whatever.
Mikey is going to be teaching us how to crochet the super cute Caron Harvest crochet pumpkins using Caron Simply Soft yarn. I will be in the chat helping you answer any questions you may have, but just a heads up that this class is being recorded. So if you find us going too fast, or if you'd like to rewatch any part, a video of this class will be posted on michaels.com on Monday. I'm sure we're all super excited to see Mikey in action, so I will pass it over to him to get started.
Mikey in action, isn't that the scariest thing you ever heard? So in the comments today, you introduce where you're from today, your name and where you're from. And you know, it's so amazing in the communities with the yarn crafts is that we come together. I Love Yarn Day is kind of a cool thing, but it's I Love Yarn Day every day. A nice slow walk down the Michaels aisle. Woo! Like to touch and feel all those balls and, you know, get those, warm up those coupons and whatever, you know, start ramming into the cart and then apologize later and then run out to the car. And I don't have to even leave it in the car, but how many of you have to leave your yarn in the car until so-and-so goes to bed until you can haul out? But, you know, and maybe where is the, here's a great question for your comments today. Where's the best place to hide yarn? I have left yarn in the trunk of my car, but that's not really exciting. So it is, I love yarn date all day. It's in October. I don't know if there's a reason why it's like if there's a certain date of October, but it happens every October. So it's a reason for us to actually, woohoo, we love yarn. But how many of you love yarn every day? So if you crochet more than, how many people crochet? How many times a week do you think you crochet? How many days of the week? So I don't crochet every day. I do a lot of computer work with our friends at Yarnspirations as well as myself, the crochet crowd for programming. But when I have this yarn going through my fingers, it's like ecstasy. So I Love Yarn Day is absolutely fabulous. And I like to stick my balls too. So when I go into my collection, it's like, I like to immerse myself. So it's I Love Yarn Day every day. So let's go down, girls and boys, to the desk right here. So switch off the camera down. So behind the scenes, we have Bianca, Arena, and Debbie all the way representing Michaels behind the camera. And here we go. I just got to adjust. So I don't know if you know, but today is the very last day for the Caron Cake Off for winning 500 balls of yarn. Can you imagine having 500 balls of yarn delivered to your house? Honest to God, it is going to make you the queen of yarn. If you're a male here today, the king of yarn, or if you're everything else, it's going to make you the person with the yarn. And it's a really neat opportunity. And there's also 4 runners up that you can win 50 balls of yarn, but 500 balls of yarn, that is like, that's better than Oprah giving away cards as far as I'm concerned as being a yarn person. But 500 balls of yarn. So just head on over to Michaels and you can actually be able to enter. That you can only enter one time, so make it your best choice. And today is the final day for entry for that. So this is going to be wrapping this up. And also there's a great recipe pattern book where we've been teaching all throughout the last month. So our co-hosts from Yarnspirations have been teaching many patterns. And so you'll see some of those patterns in the recipes as well. And also, you know, start pounding around in that michaels.com in the projects area. There's a lot of free patterns that you may have never seen before. So don't be scared, just get your fingers all wet and dirty and go on into michaels.com, michaels.ca for those that are with us here in Canada, and also yarnspirations.com. 7,000 free patterns on Yarnspirations. I know, hours of my time. I can't even explain it. It's like a black hole. So so we have that to give away to do that. So that's available here in Canada and US if you're a resident there. So today we're going to be switching off and we're going to be just examining the harvest pumpkins. So I have a rule that's my own personal rule, is that I don't ever like to teach something like this unless there's a backup video. So all of what you're seeing today, which I'll give you more information in a bit, is that we will have all of this organized for you so that you can follow the particular patterns after I am done. So you can go at your own pace. It's really hard when you teach online with so many different people at different levels to be able to to work. So there's a large pumpkin, a medium pumpkin, and guess what? There's a small pumpkin too. So the neat thing about the way that Yarn Inspirations writes their patterns, which I really adore, they have really amazing designers, but instead of having 3 different patterns, they jam it all into one. I don't know if people like that. Do you like when they do that, or would you prefer them separate? You can let us know in the comments. But what they have here is that every one of the instructions follows a certain path. So all of them are going to start, and then as soon as it goes off and it changes. So small pumpkin only is this instruction for number 6, medium pumpkin for number 6 is this, and then you can just follow it. So it's almost like a choose your own adventure. Here's what our start is, but where you end up is basically up to you and how they're doing that. And that's a really kind of a neat idea in order to do it. So I'm going to show you, do you want to see some pumpkins? Let me show you the pumpkins that came in from Yarn Inspirations. So they sent these pumpkins to me. So they're probably the ones in actually, I don't think they are, but here they are. And maybe actually come up to me, to my face. I know, scary. So anyway, so here's the pumpkins here. And you will notice that, how many sides does this pumpkin have? Anybody want to do a guess? Bianca, how many are people saying?
We're seeing 5 here.
5. So we have 5 sides. So 1, 2, 3, well, the other way, 4 or 5. So if you can think about sets of 5 with this, it actually makes your life a lot easier. And the way that it's growing is actually really quite strategic in the growth. And you can also do the little pumpkins. So maybe you like bigger. You know, some projects I really like it, but I just like to get it over with, just to say that I did the small one and then moved on with my life. But also I can give away more small pumpkins to like family, friends and stuff. And these don't go rotten. So, you know, you can pull them out as part of your decor at the beginning of a fall season. The nice thing about these pumpkins that was one of the reasons why we chose them is that there's no faces on them. So, you know, you bring them out in the fall, you have them for Canadian Thanksgiving, which is now, you have them for Halloween, and then into the American Thanksgiving for your decor. So how many people actually decorate for the fall? Is that something that you do? I kind of like it. I think it's just a seasonal change. For myself, I like decorating a little bit for Christmas, just to have that seasonal change, and then just put them away and bring them out and say, oh my God, it's so cute, like what I did last year. And you know, you could actually put like a stamp and say what year that you made it, and then you can remember saying, I remember when I did this. So it's a really easy pattern to be able to maintain. So as I mentioned, let's go back down to the table. So we are actually using 2 different kinds of yarns that you can find over at the Michaels. And honestly, I live in pumpkin country. There is literally a pumpkin field next to my house. They have a huge pumpkin festival just across diagonal to my house. I live in pumpkin country. I have never seen so many ugly pumpkins in all my life that are actually real things, like the ones with the warts and the white ones and the green ones. And there's so many varieties of squash and all of that. And I never realized that pumpkins can go beyond orange. So one of those things that I would like to let you know is that when you're looking at a pattern like this, is that you can see that there's blue pumpkins. They actually exist. How many has ever seen a blue pumpkin? They're actually the real deal. And then they got the white ones and the orange and whatever colors that you want to think about. So have you ever seen a blue pumpkin, Bianca?
Only in that photo. Actually,
Really?
those pumpkins used to be in our office. So
Really? You've never seen a blue one? They're so pretty, honestly. So anyway, so these pumpkins are really quite awesome. So if you ever look up species of pumpkins, so this year I decided to do a pumpkin patch in my house. It didn't work at all. Turns out my soil is too hard, so I got to till it up for next year. So I told you before, we determined the number of sides. So I want to show you a little sample of this. What does this look like to you, other than a pumpkin?
it's kind of like an orange poppy.
Yeah, it really is. And so what's happening in this particular pattern is that it's a constriction of using single crochet that forces it to want to fold in on itself. So it's kind of like your hand, and each finger, if I had a round hand, is the constraint. So maybe you were like holding Play-Doh, where you squish the Play-Doh and the extra comes out between your, did you ever play with Play-Doh, Bianca?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so, and it comes out between. So when we go to crochet this, your hands are the single crochet, and what's coming out in between is the double crochet. It is like Play-Doh just trying to come out. And so it's going to naturally puff out on you like you see in this. So this is not an eye trick. But there's certain things that you can do. Say you were not happy with that, you can literally just grab a piece of string, because I've seen them do it, and you can literally just go around it and just make it tight, and then you can have like forced bulges out there too, because there's other pumpkin patterns that do that. So I want to take you through a little bit of the starting of this, because we have you hooked up with Michaels for being able to have this kind of idea. So we have a crochet diagram that's available to you, or that I just did like a few minutes ago, just to make sure I understood this pattern. But I'm just going to quickly take you through this. And so I want to show you the bulging of what's going to happen is that when we do this one, we're going to work in a circle, going around and around, and we're just going to chain 2, and then we're going to put 10 single crochets into the beginning chain. And then this dot, what does the dot mean? Anybody know what that is beside Bianca? Bianca is a knitter and crocheter, she knows. So it is a slip stitch. Who said that? So slip stitch is, so whenever time you come around, you do the slip stitch. How did I know which way to read this diagram? Anybody want to take a guess? We kind of covered this in our diagram class a few weeks ago. So I can scan the diagram if you'd like me to scan that, Jerry. So that's something I can do afterwards. So, okay, so how do you know if I'm reading it? So where the chain is, who said that? Where the chain is? So the chain and the slip stitching. So which way am I going to read this pattern for those that think they know what they're up to? So which way? Is it counterclockwise or clockwise?
Counterclockwise.
Counterclockwise. So counterclockwise is it, because the chain is existing and the slip stitch is on this side. So the slip stitch is normally the end of a round. So we chained up and then we go counterclockwise and we finish with a single crochet. Does anybody just learn something new? So this whole pattern is working in a counterclockwise positioning. Now, if I put the chain on the other side and the slip stitch, I could still do this pumpkin. Okay, so just make sure you're just looking at the way to read it to look at that slip stitch. So what's going to happen on this particular one here is that the diagrams that we have a diagram course that's 33 minutes on YouTube if you're interested. Literally, it is a fabulousness. Put on the cup of coffee and just kind of watch how things are done. And I love diagrams, so I'm not a strong reader. And in fact, I've never read a book in my adult life ever, but don't tell anybody. So my point being is I'm not a strong reader. So when I go to look at patterns like this, my eyes crisscross because I'm not a strong reader. Is anybody not a strong reader like me, where you look at this and say, oh, hell no. So what I figured out as a kid is that my parents went to Ocean City. I think, what state is that in? What state is Ocean City in? It's on the East Coast somewhere. So anyway, we went to Ocean City and I was in the navigation in the front seat and I could follow the map. And I bought a book and I saw this and I'm like, I can understand that, but I can't understand this. So I learned how to, Maryland is where Ocean City is. Okay, so what we have here is that I could follow this because it seemed like a roadmap of Google for me. Well, pre-Google, but I was able to follow this versus the words because I'm not a strong reader. So if reading these kind of diagrams really kind of upsets you or gets you really frustrated, you're not you're not alone. I think I went to New Jersey. It was right next to Atlantic City. So what we have here, so if you're getting confused by this, don't be alarmed. It's not you, it's the pattern. So what we have here is that we are going to just start you off, and I'm just going to demonstrate just a little bit of it here. Then we have a shorter class today, so I'm just going to demonstrate how the growth is going to happen and then how you can match it. So I never drew everything. I just drew myself to get started so I could understand on the growth of this. So when you're looking at this, I want you to think about a clock that only has 5 sides, or a piece of pie that has 5 sides, because how many sides do you see? You see 5. So the growth of this has to stay in balance, because once we get to a certain amount, we're going to start just maintaining the stitches, and it's going to bowl around to create the pumpkin shape. And then we're going to get smaller, and the bulging of these double crochets is going to happen naturally on its own. So it's not something that you're going to have to force, right? So that's kind of what we're going to be doing today. So let me just quickly demonstrate just a few things for you today. And then we have that available. For those that are hearing impaired, we also have, our videos are also closed captioned for those that would prefer that as well. So we got your back either way. So we're going to start off today, and I'm just going to do just a quick demonstration, but we're going to start off with the slip knot. No matter how you start your slip knot, just start one. And Bianca, is there any questions at this moment?
So far, no, I think we're all following along here.
Okay, good. So we're going to start off and we're going to chain 2. So 1, 2. Remember that the first slip stitch is never, the slip knot is never counted as 1. So we're going to really pack in 10 single crochets together. So let's count those out together. So 1, ringy dingy, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So Mikey, while you're doing that, can I just ask if you're doing magic loop or magic circle, how would you change? Are you chaining a different amount?
Okay, so I saw that come across, so that's a great question. So what we have is if you're doing a magic circle, then just do your magic circle and slam in 10 single crochets and then reef on it really tight. If you go and look at the Crochet Crowd today on the YouTube channel, we launched the fabulous fall wreath, and the acorn that we did and the grapes that we did today all have a magic ring. So if you don't know what a magic ring is, you don't know what you're missing. So if you don't like a hole, see this hole in the base of here, they don't show you that when they're showing you the model. They're like, oh yeah, it's so pretty, but they turn it over and you see that. If you do a magic ring, you can get rid of that easily. So if you want to learn how to do that, that's a great idea. Do you want me to demonstrate a magic ring while we're doing that? I can demonstrate that. So I'll demonstrate that because we're here. So if you wanted to do a magic ring instead, what you want to do, if you want to grab some yarn, lay the yarn down in front of your hand like this, and we're going to be concentrating on these 2 fingers. Okay, so lay it down, and I'll do a demonstration. So I want you just to pinch, just to hold it so it doesn't go anywhere, and take the strand leading to the ball and just move your other 2 fingers out of the way and come up across your fingers and turn over like this. Okay, so you lay it down in front. Okay, this is the end of the yarn. And then you just concentrate on your 2 fingers and you go up and over like this, like an X. And then you use the ring finger just to hold that. And all you're just going to do is just slide up underneath the first one and grab the second. And then you just scoop it. And so when you go to crochet your 10, you want to just chain 1 to lock it so it's not going to go anywhere. And you crochet right up over that ring plus then this one here. So let's just say we're doing 10. So you could do 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, before you do anything, what you can do is just slip stitch to the very first one because you can see it. Slip stitch here, and now you got that really big hole. Okay, we don't want big holes. So we're gonna just grab the strand here and pull on it. So I like to take it out when I do that and just hold it. And what you can just do is just pull on that other one and see, look at it, just sucks in. Okay, it sucks in, so, and then you keep pulling on it. Now here's the thing with the magic circle, you always have to fasten that in. So you're gonna turn this over to the back side and you're gonna put this through a tapestry needle and just weave it back and forth 3 times. And therefore you'll never have a hole. So if you're doing hats, anything like that, and you got a big hole in the top of your hat, that is the kind of the things. So so I just chained that first one just to lock it. And yeah. So how many for the pumpkin? It's just 10 single crochets to be able to get started. So why can't you pull the yarn? You can pull the yarn at any time. Yeah, you can pull the yarn at any time. That's just my thing. So how did you do a single chain first? No, I did not do a single crochet. I just chained 1 to lock it, and then I did my 10 single crochets. Hopefully that is good. So you can see the difference. Okay, this yarn is thicker, but you can see the difference is that I will literally have a hole here. But what you can do, if you get a hole and you really don't like the magic circle, just take this tail end, put it through a tapestry needle and just go across, and then it will pull it all shut, right? And so that's something you can do. So I'll just demonstrate one more time. Okay, so we'll just demonstrate one more time. So right in front of your hand, just use 2 fingers. Okay, so the end. And there, remember, this is being recorded, so you can see me later. And we also have videos available on Yarn Inspirations. So what you can do is that you can just reef it over top of your finger like that. You want to have the crossover, right? So you go up over the first one and then grab the one that's crossed towards the back. Scoop it up. And I like just to chain one just to lock it. So that's not a single crochet. I just locked it so it's holding. And therefore you can just put as many chains in, or as many single crochets or double crochets or half double crochets into this. And when you're done, you just pull on this string and it literally pulls that shut. You see that? And that's what they're all riding on. So what we have here in the sample is that on number 2, so we just decided to do 10 into the circle. And so in the next one, we're going to chain up 1 and we're going to put 2 single crochets in the first one and then 2 doubles into the next one and 2 singles into the next one and 2 doubles. You see that? Yeah. Okay, so can we just please make the pumpkin? So I will try to get on. I'm trying to be helpful. But it doesn't always work, and I'm sorry about that. So what we want to do is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I like to count back just to make sure that I am getting the 10th one back. And then, oh, I've already slip stitched. What am I talking? Oh, no, I haven't. So I'm going to slip stitch. So I have my 10. Okay, so now we just start off and we just chain 1 and we do 2 single crochets in the first one, and then 2 double crochets in the next. So each one is going to get 2 stitches. It's just they're just matching each other. So this one's 2 doubles in this one. The next one is 2 singles. Okay, and then the next one is 2 doubles. Okay, and the next one is 2 singles. And we're going to just do that all the way around. So it's a nice, easy repeat, at least for this round. So I've been trying a new practice on YouTube is to actually quieten it up a little bit. I tend to yap too much and mansplain, so I've been working hard on keeping my mouth shut on YouTube with my videos lately, just to make sure that you can count and concentrate. But so if we started off with 2 single crochets in the first one, we should end up with 2 double crochets in the last stitch before the join. One thing that people don't understand is, see this one here, that's not a stitch. That's just reaching over, and just look at it like an arrow and it's pointing to the first one. So people tend to put something in there and that's where they go wrong on expanding too much. So make sure you don't do that. So 2 double crochets are in your last one and you're going to slip stitch to the first, like that. So you should almost see a pentagon shape at this point because we determined how many sides. There's going to be a total of 5 sides. Remember that this video has been recorded, so we will have those resources for you as well later. So when we go on to number 3, this is where the equation changes. And so what we have to do is that we have to maintain the 12 o'clock positioning. So everything is in like a clock. So we're going to chain up 1, and the first one is going to be 1 single crochet by itself. And then the next one is going to have a single and a double into the same one. And then the next one is going to be 1 double by itself and then 2 double in the next. What I want you to pay attention to, and this is something that you should be aware of, the expansion is every other stitch. So here we did 2 into the same one, 2 into the same one, but we have to let it grow. So it's only 1 into the first one, 2 into the next stitch, 1 into the next stitch, 2 into the next. So 1 and 2. And 1 and 2. This is like an 80s aerobics class. So when you're expanding on the next round, you just have to watch for where you're going to go, right? And that's kind of what we're going to try. So let's try number 3, and let's try to do this together. So in number 3, you're going to chain up 1, and the first one is going to be a single crochet. That single crochet is what is considered the hands that I explained about. It's going to be what holds that together from expanding. So we're going to single crochet into the first one, which we just did, and the next one is expansion. So you're going to single crochet and then double. Okay. And then the next one has to only be one stitch, so it's a double. And then the next one has 2 double crochets into it. Is there any questions, Bianca?
I think we're in a good spot. We're just directing people to your awesome YouTube channel.
Okay.
Got lots of resources there, yeah.
So the next one after you get your 2 is just one by itself, okay? And then the next one is 1 single crochet and then a double. So the next one has to be 1 by itself, so it's a double. And then the next one has to have 2 in there for the expansion, which is going to be 2 double crochet. So I want you to understand on how this thing is growing, because it makes sense when you're looking at it from that perspective versus looking at it saying, oh my God, what the hell am I doing? So we're going to do single crochet. There was 1 by itself, and the next one has to have an expansion. So it's going to be a single and then a double. And the more you crochet this, you can see that the flowering effect is starting to come out, right? And so the next one has to have a double. So okay, so it's a double, so it's going to be a single, it's by itself, and then go over like this. So if you don't know who I am, I actually teach crochet for a living on YouTube. And so that is basically my home channel. I have 2,500 tutorials available for you. Most of them are closed captioned for those that are hearing impaired, or sorry, hard of hearing or deaf. And we have that available to you at any time, 24/7. And then I also teach with my friends at Yarn Inspiration, so you'll find my videos there too. So either way, we have you covered in free education all over the place. Right now, if you, because our class will be coming, because it's I Love Yarn Day. So on the Crochet Crowd website, this pattern exists, and all of the tutorials are available in that one link if you're interested in that as well. So once you come all the way around, you're going to see like a poppy taking effect. And as you get bigger and bigger, you're going to notice is that it's just going to keep expanding outward, just like that, right? And that's kind of a neat thing to be able to try. So what I'm recommending to you is if you want to come over to the Crochet Crowd, and I believe these patterns are over, Bianca, can you check that? I believe they're on Your Inspirations YouTube channel as well.
Oh, they definitely are, yep.
Yep, so if you want to go over to Yarn Inspirations on YouTube or the Crochet Crowd on YouTube, you will find all 3 pumpkins are already filmed, and you'll be able to follow step by step. The videos are about 50 minutes long, so it's impossible to be able to teach it here live on camera that we have because you need the time to be able to count and take your time and not have me yapping at you. So it's a really kind of a neat way. And I found this is just up to round number 5. And I start getting excited because you can start seeing that it's starting to happen. And when you have the small pumpkins like this, you realize that you're not far off from where you are. So let's just go over the pattern just real quick before we let you go today. And so when you're following the instructions that you have, is that each one of them starts off the same way, but on page number 2, you will see the 6th round is the small pumpkin only. So if you're doing the small pumpkin, this is the 6th round for the small pumpkin only. But if you're doing like the medium or the large pumpkin, this is the 6th round. So if you're doing medium or large, you're just going to axe those instructions and just go here. And you just keep following it here. And then you will find in the instructions as you go, medium pumpkin, repeat the 9th round 5 more times. And the large pumpkin is to repeat the 9th round 7 more times. And you'll see that there's not much of a difference between these two, but it actually works out to be really quite nice. Do you see that? So what you can just do is that when you look at instructions like this, it's like, oh my God, there's a lot. But when you start just mixing and matching on what you want to play with, you can just do all that. So if you were doing the small pumpkin only, repeat the 6th round 5 more times, and then you just jump all the way over here, all sizes the 1st round. So what I'm saying is that all of these instructions don't apply to every pumpkin that we're going to be doing that. So what I wanted to make sure for you today is that because it is I Love Yarn Day and it's a limited time class, We already have these already filmed up and ready for you so that you can just have yourself a great time to be able to make these kind of pumpkins. And the videos are completed for each of the small, medium, and large. And then you can just follow those kind of instructions to be able to do that. Just want to take a note of where to insert the stuffing, and that's also covered into the tutorial. If you're a beginner, never crocheted ever, you can try something like this. Just go at your own pace and just, you know, stop and play, anything like that. So is there any questions, Bianca, at this moment?
No, I think we're in good shape here. I can definitely say that is the best magic loop tutorial I've ever seen, and I feel like I've learned a lot.
Oh, really? So
Yeah,
it's a really neat concept. So, you know, just don't get fooled with it. So if you really follow, you'll see that there's 2 single crochets that really compound this, and then the double crochets is what bulges out like that, right?
mm-hmm.
That's kind of neat. So is there any other questions at all?
So we're just wondering about the stem. So
Okay.
does that work the same way as the rest of
So
the
the stem is actually just chain 10, and then you're going to single crochet back and forth and then roll it and then sew it together. So it'll be like a band-aid. It'll look like this, right? And then you just roll it and then just sew the one side to the other side, and it will look like that, right? So it's kind of a neat, and you're going to do the back loops only, so you see a little bit of texture and that kind of idea. So if you're stuffing the pumpkin, I feel these pumpkins are overstuffed. If I can see the stuffing like that, like if the bright light's on, I feel like it's overstuffed. So when you're stuffing anything like this, just make sure that you're easy on the stuffing. And it's a neat way to be able to do. I've also get fabric. Sometimes I can get fabric over at Michael's too. And just actually wrap it on the inside of this, or even an old t-shirt, and then have it similar color to it, and then put the stuffing inside, and therefore the whatever shows through is actually just the color of the fabric instead of the actual white stuffing. So that's kind of something that I would consider, and I've done that in the past. So you see what I'm saying? So you don't want to overstuff it like that.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
No, I think we're good here.
So I know it's kind of like a rock and sock'em kind of class today.
Mm-hmm.
I find with the Zoom classes that it's just nice to get a walkthrough. Let me know how you're thinking about that. If you want me to scan my diagram, I can do a better thing on this on the computer, and I can get that available to you, and I will link it to the article on our website in order to do that. It'll be really hokey pokey, but it'll get you started, and then I can just demonstrate that. So I will put some time available. Even though it's a holiday weekend here in Canada, I am working all weekend. So it's no big deal to me, depending on what I want to do. So I want to just a quick reminder for those that were late to the party. Remember, Michael's is giving away, oops, Perch goes, stay down. So, so Michael's is giving away 500 Caron cake balls. Make sure that you are participating if you would like to. Today is the final day. It's been advertised for like, I think 6 weeks. Today is the final day as a result of that. And of course, you know, you can always just go down and have your nice walks down the aisles of Michael's and actually be able to play with things. I really like the new colors that came out, and there's some new yarns coming out later on in the season as well. So that's it for now, and have a good one, and we hope to see you again real soon. Any final messages? That's it. I think we're good.
I think we're good. Yeah.
Good. Have a great day, everybody, and we hope to see you next time. And I'll be back, I think, next week. We'll see you.
Thanks.
I think I'm still alive.
Now it's the after show.
Oh, now this is where the clothes come up. This is when it gets hot and heavy right here.